It is Sunday, the 22nd of October, 2017. I'm in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, protesting against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse and cover-up and denial of Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse by the Unitarian Universalist Association, and to some extent also the Unitarian Church of Montreal. And today's protest includes a picket sign that I've previously displayed in front of the Montreal Gazette and also here, but this is basically I haven't displayed this in quite some time, but here it goes. Helpless children have been raped by Unitarian Universalist ministers and Sunday school teachers, but the Gazette's retired justice reporter Sue Montgomery, who happens to be running for mayor of Côte-des-Neiges and Notre-Dame-de-Grâce borough of Montreal at the moment for Projet Montreal, never reported the Unitarian Universalist Association's immoral, unethical, borderline criminal, and quite frankly batshit crazy attempted misuse of Canada's archaic blasphemy law in Unitarian Universalist clergy, sex abuse, cover-up, and denial of legal bullying. Obviously I added a few words there, but there's only so many words you can put on a picket sign. But that statement is entirely truthful, supported by evidence, totally incontrovertible, and Sue Montgomery is trying to pretend that it's not true. In fact, Sue Montgomery falsely accused me of libeling her back in December of 2014. This is going back a while, almost 3 years now. On December 14th of 2014, I was protesting outside La Tulipe on Papineau Street against the fact that Sue Montgomery was complicit in Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, that she'd even participated in efforts to shut down my protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse of all kinds and various other Unitarian Universalist injustices and abuses and hypocrisy in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal in the past. I had a picket sign very similar to the one we just looked at. This is a new and improved version. But anyway, so I was outside La Tulipe on Papineau Street protesting when a bailiff came up and had me served with a cease and desist demand letter written by Mark Banty of Gowlings, Henderson, Lafleur, Montreal media lawyer Mark Banty, who normally works for institutions like the Gazette rather than individuals, to the best of my knowledge. He certainly does the former. He certainly generally or often represents the Gazette and other newspapers in court. And essentially what it came down to is Mark Banty, Montreal media lawyer, on behalf of the Gazette's justice reporter, we can put that in quotation marks, Sue Montgomery, and I suspect with the full knowledge and support of the Gazette editor and so on. I don't think Sue did this as a one-off on her own without the knowledge of the Gazette. I suspect that the Gazette was aware of this. Came up and was accusing me falsely of libel against Sue Montgomery. What? It's always a good morning when I'm accused of blasphemy by Unitarians in the 21st century. Doesn't get better than that. Oh, this is the first and only time I've been accused of blasphemy.
When was that?
When was I accused of blasphemy? When the Unitarian Universalist Association hired Stikeman Elliott barristers.
When was that?
When? Let's see now, what year was it? 2012, I believe. 5 years ago almost, yeah. But the thing is, they haven't withdrawn the accusation, so they're still accusing me.
Well,
they haven't withdrawn it. I said, you withdraw this bullshit, and they haven't done so they're still accusing me.
How do you know it's not withdrawn?
What?
How do you know it's not withdrawn?
Because they haven't done anything. Like, they've totally ignored all of my letters. I said, you're going to apologize for this. They've never apologized.
No, but how do you know that the law firm is still pursuing this?
They're not pursuing it. They can't because it's total bullshit. But what I'm saying is you're going to withdraw the accusation.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am, gentlemen.
I'm trying to get some facts here, but it's not easy.
Oh, there's no sense discussing it. Come on in with
there's lots of sense discussing it. But if you want facts, just read my blog. Read the Emerson Avenger blog. No, you're not. Well, I just gave you a bunch, and you can have more. Read the Emerson Avenger blog, and you'll get lots of facts. Just Google blasphemous libel, Unitarian Church of Montreal, you get lots of facts. So that's a guy, you know, claiming to want to be engaging in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, which I certainly encourage. And I was trying to give him some facts there, but of course the president of the church, Stanislaus, what's his name, and someone else, you know, basically gently took him away from a situation where he was engaging in a free, if not responsible, search for truth. You know, I would have been only too happy to give him all the details he wanted to know, or claimed to want to know, in a further conversation. But you'll notice that the president of the Unitarian Church of Montreal and one other Montreal Unitarian, you know, came out and basically took him away from a situation where he could have engaged in a further free and responsible search for truth and meaning. You just took him away from a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. You are once more violating the principles of Unitarian Universalism. But you're totally complicit in the injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy that I'm protesting against, sir, because you've never done anything about them. So, that is Stanislaus, can't remember his last name, Wikiwitz or something like that. Yeah, Stanislaus basically trying to be a bit of a jerk here. So anyhow, looks like Stanislaus is going to get a few minutes of fame on YouTube. So anyhow, we shall continue to circulate here as we're supposed to do. I don't know what Stanislaus's excuse is for trying to get in my face a little bit on the sidewalk. You know, he's basically just being foolish as far as I'm concerned and getting physically close to me. And anyhow, there's no reason for him, you know, to do what he just did other than to try and be somewhat intimidating as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not intimidated by Stanislaus. So it's always a good morning when I'm accused of blasphemy by atheist Unitarian Stanislaus. It doesn't get better than that. So we got someone else outside the Unitarian Church of Montreal here. It's not Reverend Diane Rowlett, to the best of my knowledge. Some other Unitarian Universalist minister. So I'm not quite sure who that is, but she's just as willfully ignorant. But anyway, I'll educate her. I think I'll educate her because she may not know some of the details. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Unitarian Universalist misuse of blasphemy law and batshit crazy legal bullying intended to cover up such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Unitarian Universalist misuse of Canada's archaic and soon-to-be repealed blasphemy law in immoral, unethical, borderline criminal, and quite frankly, batshit crazy attempted misuse of blasphemy law in legal bullying intended to hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers has to go. It has to be formally withdrawn and apologized for. And all other efforts by the Unitarian Universalist Association to cover up and deny such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers and certain Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers also has to cease and desist. And the UUA has to apologize for all of its past legal bullying efforts against not only me, but as I understand it, numerous other people who have complained about clergy abuse of one kind or another. And you, madame, whoever you are totally complicit in those injustices and abuses if you do not speak out against them. So I just made it very, very clear to that minister who is not Reverend Diane Rowlett, this is someone filling in for Reverend Diane Rowlett today, that unless she speaks out against that injustice and abuse of the criminal justice system, she is complicit in it. Just making it very, very clear to her that if she keeps silent about it, she is part of the big fat U*U problem. So I'm not quite sure who she is. I can find out, I think, easily enough by checking the Unitarian Church of Montreal's website, and I'll follow up. I will follow up. I will contact her directly and say, oh, here's the story, by the way, in case you're wondering why I'm protesting outside the Unitarian Church of Montreal, and in case you're wondering about what I said in this video that I just posted to YouTube, here's the details. And I expect you, as a Unitarian Universalist minister who claims to believe in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and who claims to believe in justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, to engage in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning of what I'm saying about Unitarian Universalist misuse and abuse of Canada's blasphemy law and clergy sex abuse, cover-up, and denial of legal bullying, and to look at the bigger picture of Unitarian Universalist clergy sex abuse, and indeed non-sexual clergy abuse, and speak out against it. Because if you don't speak out against it, you're complicit in it. And you are part of the big fat U** problem. I'm not talking to you personally. I'm narrating. But she is part of big fat U** problem if she's a member of the Unitarian Church of Montreal or otherwise a Unitarian Universalist, and she sees my picket signs protesting against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse and Unitarian Universalist misuse of blasphemy law and legal bullying intended to cover up and deny clergy abuse, and does nothing. I believe someone once said, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the saying here. It's all about, like, basically doing nothing. It's about good people doing nothing. Hi! Wonderful day. I always enjoy being accused of blasphemy by Unitarians in the 21st century. Huge honor and privilege. So, the kid who said hi is actually apparently the child of one of the former presidents of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, who totally ignored my protest outside the church while she was president, if she wasn't busy suppressing it. Quite possibly. I'll have to check her term of... Oh, look who's here. Look at all these past members of the Unitarian Church of Montreal that haven't been here in a while. So anyhow, let's see. Oh yes, this is still running. Glad to see the camera's still running. Glad I got that all recorded. So again, I do not know who this minister is. But she almost certainly is already complicit, because she probably already knows at least the basic facts. But if she does absolutely nothing after what I just told her minutes ago, then she most certainly is totally complicit in all of the injustices and abuses and hypocrisy that I just brought to her attention. So, bonjour, bonjour. So, anyhow, got a fair number of people showing up here. Got something of a wry smile from the guy walking by, whose face is somewhat familiar. It might be someone who actually attended the Unitarian Church of Montreal before. Maybe he's no longer attending the Unitarian Church of Montreal. That's just speculation. I'm not 100% sure, but his face is familiar, and I think I might have seen him attending the Unitarian Church of Montreal at some point, maybe just visiting. Anyhow, it's a beautiful sunny day at the end of October 22nd, so still a week to go. And wonderful day to be protesting. Oh, we got a police car with lights on here. So, and it's now passing outside the traffic. Is it coming to have a little chat with me? Is it coming to arrest me on some more bullshit criminal charges that the Unitarian Universalist Church wants to bring against me? We'll see soon enough. Hopefully he's on some other kind of call, but we will know soon enough. What is it? Something equip? Group Eclipse. Oh, that's good. Group Eclipse. The Group Eclipse of the SPVM is dedicated to basically dealing with organized crime. So I don't think it's likely to be intervening with little old me, unless it thinks that my blog posts and tweets and so on about Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse, which includes but is by no means limited to such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, is some kind of organized crime. I'd say actually the real organized crime is the Unitarian Universalist Association's misuse of Canada's blasphemy. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the thumbs up. See, I do get good positive results from the public. But anyway, getting back to the Unitarian Universalist Association's immoral, unethical, borderline criminal, and quite frankly, batshit crazy attempted misuse of Canada's blasphemy law and clergy sex abuse, cover-up and denial, legal bullying, which seeks to conceal such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by the Unitarian Universalist Association. Well, ministers, sorry, by ministers. Actually, the exact wording was certain Unitarian Universalist ministers. Certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, like Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell and other rapist Unitarian Universalist ministers or pedophile Unitarian Universalist ministers. But then there's also the Sunday school teachers, also known as the religious educators. Stephen Craig Bullite was charged, tried, and convicted of the despicable crimes of pedophilia and rape. Basically, he adopted a teenage boy. Okay, well, maybe not pedophilia because it's sort of on the edge there. I think he adopted a boy who was 16 years old at the time he adopted him. Proceeded to repeatedly rape him. So it's definitely rape, but I guess it's open to some question as to whether it was pedophilia, because I generally see pedophilia as being, you know, sexual abuse of preteen children, but this is like right on the borderline. This is right on the borderline, and it's certainly sexual abuse of a child. I think we can all agree that a 16-year-old boy, a vulnerable 16-year-old boy, is a child. And Stephen Craig Bullite, Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teacher, was charged, tried, and convicted of raping this poor young boy. So Unitarian Universalists, the Unitarian Universalist Association, have been trying to hide this stuff as much as they possibly think they can get away with for years. And they're still doing it as far as I'm concerned, and I'm still exposing it until such a time as they tell the truth, the whole truth.